looking at your YouTube channel and your website, reenremedy.com. That we got some great questions lined up for you here, but we've been talking about in class the analyzing your competition, knowing your competition, how to compete and why you need competition, and also how to set yourself apart in a product. So I'll let you tell us about your background in Reen Remedy. And hold on, I'm getting interrupted.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm ready. So yeah, just tell us about how you got started, what all you do, and your background. So I think it's pretty cool.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Ann Shell. I am the owner of Reen Remedy. My background is in science. So I have a degree in biology and chemistry, and then I have a master's in biomedical science. And then now I am a fourth year dental student. So I graduate in May. So I created like a healthier product. That was, my ultimate goal is, since I'm like taking care of the inside of the mouth, why not make sure that the outside is just as healthy? And a lot of products that we tend to use on our lips are not, the best. Even the ones that say that they're all natural, or, like I think Burt's Bees is the main one that like is pretty much natural. However, they do use animal products. So it's a chemical called formalin, which is not like really a chemical, but it's almost like you rubbed oil from a lamb or from like a animal, like almost like, let's say your forehead was oily and you rubbed it off and kind of put that product in there. So I didn't want any of that in there, no animal products. So it's like vegan, cruelty free, all natural, very healthy. And once you take away those like harmful parabens and the things that keep a product from spoiling, which they're in there for a great reason. I understand why the major companies do it. However, it's just not healthy, and they're cancer causing. So just that was kind of like my main idea, which kind of drove the company. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. Now, and we've had a variety of speakers in this class. Some of them are just starting out. Some of them been in business for a while. But can you talk a little bit about what it is that makes it easy and hard, pros and cons of being an employee, or in your case, student, and an entrepreneur? Because we see both. Some people are all in, just the business. Some people have a 9-to-5 and they have a side hustle, or they're an entrepreneur and a part-time employee. So that we've seen several combinations. So how does that work for you, and how do you think is the best way to decide how to do that?
So I didn't really have much of a choice. I guess I could have started after school, but the pandemic kind of allowed me like a lot more time to be home and to kind of get my formula together. So that's kind of what drove it at the time that it was being driven. So I am still a full-time student. I see patients every day, or for the most part every day, unless like I take like a little break in my schedule. So it is very, very busy. I mean, I would love to do it full time, but I just can't. However, I'm like working nonstop, like working and like being a student, you're already kind of like going and going and going, but like everything, like as an entrepreneur, is work. Every single thing, like it's constantly like, okay, well, what can I do now? Like I love Instagram. I'm on Instagram posting crazy stuff all the time, but it's like, okay, now I see an Instagram reel. I like this audio. Let me save it because this is for my channel, or let me save it. This is this. Like, it's like constant, like you can't really turn it off. So I guess that's the difference. I mean, I work like little jobs as well, but you make the time for what you want. Is kind of, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you still want to have your 9-to-5, that's fine. But don't go to work and help somebody else's dream and not come home and tend to yours. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's funny you said that about the constant work. I had a speaker in another class yesterday from from Richmond, Virginia. And she said, these entrepreneurs, they want to say, I don't want to work for anybody. I don't want to take orders. But then they realize how hard it is with the amount of hours that are put in. And she was like, you need to understand the amount of work you put in, especially at the beginning.
Yeah, it's really the ghetto. I'm gonna be honest. It is, because you really think you're like, okay, I'm my own boss, I'm my own this. And then you know, when you're first starting out, and it's not like I came in like Donald Trump with a small $1 million loan from, you know, a parent or something. So like this was all me. So you're coming in like I'm the everything. Like I'm customer service, I'm the front desk, I'm packing orders, I'm sending things, like until you grow to a certain point where it's like, okay. And I do hire people for certain things, like my, like, you know, certain social media stuff, for certain stuff with my website, because I want it to be good. And like I have like independent contracts with certain people and certain,
Absolutely.
you know, things, because it's hard to do it all by yourself when you have so much going on. And even if you didn't have a lot going on, like you want an expert to handle certain things.
Yeah,
like
especially on the accounting
I'm an
side.
expert with the product.
Yeah.
You can be the expert at marketing. That's not my thing. So, you know.
Yeah, and there are small businesses throughout the country that specialize in helping other small businesses. There's a lot of virtual CFOs. There's a lot of virtual marketers, and they specialize in dealing with companies like yours, or like the ones that these kids might start. And that's what they're good at. Like you know, they can be good at their product, but they have people that are good at the books.
Yep.
But we are talking about competition. Obviously, you're in the company you're in is a very competitive market. Lip products, skin products, anything beauty related is one of the most competitive products in America, probably the world. So how do you stay competitive in making your brand stand apart from other brands?
So I think one, my product kind of speaks for itself when you use it, and people are like really spreading the word and really getting it out there. I just got booked for a wedding. So like over like a order over 100 just lip balms, you know, just because they're good. They've been sent to like celebrities, like as gifts to people. So I think that's what kind of, because the product is all natural, and you can tell like when you're putting it on, and once you like use it for a while, you're like, oh, like my lips are actually healing, or like you know, so the product, number one, is good. And then on top of that, my packaging is like very different. Let me, I have one like next to my purse right here. This is like an old one, very, very old one. But like how many of you guys have seen something like this in store? Like where you have a lip balm in a bamboo packaging. Like you don't see it often. So that's what kind of like made me, you know, branch out as far as like, okay, what's something that people haven't seen? I think this will be cute, versus me putting it in like an average like little plastic container. You get double the product in this. It's a good price. It's really cool. When you pull it out, people are like, oh, like, what is that? I've never seen that. So it kind of just makes you ask questions. You also have to check out the competition. Like when it comes to like price points and, you know, different things like that. Like, so I would go to like beauty supplies, or I would go to Target, or, you know, just different things, different websites. Like, okay, how much are they selling this for? What's the price point for it? What are they putting in it that I don't want to put in mine? Like, it's a lot of research that goes into it, and just making sure that your stuff is, you know, just different. Come up with something different. You can be in the industry, but there's plenty of money for everybody in this industry. It's not done growing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about packaging, and something we have talked about as well in some presentations is how companies have used packaging and colors and certain things to catch the eye to get the buyer's attention. So even if it can be made the exact same way as another lip balm, but because of the packaging and the logo and the way it appears to somebody wanting to buy, sales is a mental game. So if it looks like, you know, when I was in sales, we called it pitch, put in the customer's hand. So if they have it in their hand, they're more likely to buy it because they picked it up and looked at it.
Yep.
And it's the same. And I
exactly.
guess in your case, it would be a website. If they see it, they click it. It's the same, you know, it's a virtual hand, but at the same time, the more likely the eye catching of the logo and the packaging.
Right. People rave so much about it, like when they got it, that they're like automatically reposting, like, oh my God, like, look at this. Like, I just ordered these, like, these are so cool. And it kind of like, you know, just kind of got traction from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now, and when you talked a little bit about price point, you know, with, you know, we have 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds here, and, you know, they're, you know, most of them don't have their own jobs yet, and they're just, you know, trying to look for the lowest price. When you're using natural products, like you were using, you can charge a little bit more because you had that perceived, and I call it perceived value. If people think they're getting more, people are willing to pay more. How much of that have you seen in your price points?
I see a lot of that. However, I try to, and this is just humble little me, I try to not overcharge for my lip balms. My lip balms are worth way more than I sell them for. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, do people really care? Because they also feel like they can go get Burt's Bees and get 2 for $7.89, or whatever the case is, versus like mine are $5 across the board. If you buy 4, you get them for 18. So that's like a little bit of a discount, but my packaging is expensive. My product, what's inside it, is expensive. But I tried to, and that's of course my best seller, but I try to get the money in other ways. Like my lipsticks, I make more, like a pretty good amount where I can offset the cost for certain things so that I'm not overcharging people for something. Because it's like, I want you to have it. I want this to be healthy for you. I want, for it to grab your attention. I want people to buy it as gifts for you and not feel like, my God, like I've just spent all this money on a lip balm. But yeah.
Yeah. And with that having that at such a good price point, is that allow you to have to maybe create customers that will buy other products as well instead of just
definitely, because people don't want to feel like they're being ripped off. They want stuff to be fair, and I understand we all make a certain make a certain amount, and we all want to like pay a certain amount. But like my lipsticks go for $15 and $18. Do I pay that much for them? Absolutely not. Do I pay a good amount to make sure that they're right and they're custom? Absolutely. So I think it's like a delicate balance where you can see like, okay, I can make money from this. I don't have to gouge people on the price for this because I want you once again to have it. So
yeah, and you're right, especially in the age of online reviews, the product reputation is everything. Because if you don't pay attention to the quality, even if you have a good price, you're still going to get dragged through the mud because, the online review world is out of control now.
Yeah.
But I do got some really good questions here that I want to get to. This is from Harmony Williams. She's interested in the beauty industry, so it's a similar type thing. But she asked, and she's a sophomore, but she asked, what products made you realize that they would help improve your skin?
What products of mine?
Yes.
The lip balm, hands down. Like lip balm, the body butter. I've gotten a lot of. I have a CBD body butter as well, and people like go crazy for it. So that's like one of my best sellers as well. But I would say like I have so many people, like my skin is sensitive. I can't like everything has broken me out. Like this has been amazing. It's kid friendly. It's like people with sensitive skin. There's so many people of color and Black people with like eczema or
Wow.
just different, like they can't put anything on their skin or they're breaking out in rashes, like because this is all natural. Like it helps with so many different things. Some of them I've heard people say like, oh, this is helping with my dark pigmentation, like kind of helping it like even stuff out. Like I've heard a lot of different things. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even know that. But I'm happy
and
for
you're
you.
the science person. You
right. I'm like, because nothing that I put in it.
it.
And I think it's just a matter of like healing the skin and healing, people that have had like cracked lips, no matter how much, lip balm they're putting on, and like their lips are like actually healing from it. So
that's awesome.
That's one thing. Yeah.
All right, this is Jarvis Owsley. He's a junior, and he's one of our digital media students, and he's interested in starting a nonprofit type thing. But he asked, what type of promotion and advertising do you think is the most effective?
I would say Instagram. If I'm answering that properly, like so many of my sales have come from like outside of like word of mouth. Instagram has been like my number one. And you can tell like on your website for like where your sales are coming from, like where people are clicking on your website from. So like Google is one. Instagram is definitely like a huge one that like it gets a lot of traction and you're getting people on your site from those.
Okay. This is Corlin Murray. She's a senior. And she asked, how important is your current career? Oh, I'm sorry. How important is it for you for your current career to align with your business venture?
So mine just so happens to align. I don't think that it's important at all. I think if you pick something you like and you pick something that makes you happy, then you're good. If you're picking something for the money, I had people trying to like make my website for me. Fiverr is like another site that we kind of talked about that you can get the virtual people. So Fiverr, I definitely recommend for all of you that are trying to start a business. If you want somebody to build your website, if you want advertising, marketing, like they do just about everything on virtual assistants, like Fiverr is popping for it. However, is some people on there that are like, oh, like if you want to increase sales, I suggest that you sell electronics. And it's like, girl, I asked you to put one little thing on my website. Like that's not my niche. That's not what I do. So it's like people on there that'll just have you trying to sell whatever. But if you don't have a passion for it, if it's not your thing, then don't do it, because people see that. Like, and it's just like, okay, well, I can get this from anybody. I can get it from anywhere. Like, why get it from you? And if you're not into it, then you can't really sell somebody on it, you know?
Absolutely.
But I don't think it's important. I have so many business ventures that I want to do outside of like opening multiple dental practices. Like, I want to do a million other things and own so many other businesses and that have nothing to do with dentistry, that have nothing to do with beauty. So as long as you're interested in it.
Yeah. This is Shatez Barnett, and he's a senior. And this is a great question. He asked, was it hard when you first started out to convince people to buy your product without thinking you were a scammer? And also, was it hard for them to use your product without thinking it would mess up their skin?
That's funny. Nobody thought I was a scammer. I don't think anybody thought I was a scammer because I wasn't selling stuff in people's DMs. When you have like a legitimate website, when you have a legitimate website, not saying that not every website is real, some are from scammers. However, when you have a legit website that people can click on, they can see the products, they can see certain things, product descriptions. When you click on my Instagram, like I had different reviews up. I have like stuff or people posting with the product. So but he said when I first started, so like before I even had those things, but I always had a website. Don't tell people like, okay, DM me for the inquiry of how much it'll cost, like, or, you know, I'll send it to you, send me your address through a DM. Like,
no.
Some businesses run like that. I would never, because a lot of people don't know you. They don't know what you're about. And I'm not sending anybody money through a DM.
No.
So I think that was one. And what was the second part of that question?
He asked about when you first started, how do you convince people to try your product without thinking it would mess up their skin?
I tested it on people. Like because I was creating the products, and I do have a degree, I do have a background in chemistry and mixing chemicals and doing certain things, but I did lots of research, lots of testing. I would have my boyfriend test stuff all the time, and he's like very picky about stuff. I would send stuff to my friends, like, test these things, you know, do you like them? How is it? Use it for a while. And my friends are brutal. Like, we're from the West Coast and they don't hold anything back. And stuff they didn't like, they told me like, this is trash, hate it, or I love this one, keep this, like, you know. So before you put it out to the public, like, have the people around you, the people that you trust to tell you the truth, not the people that'll just, you know, say anything just to agree with you. Have those people around to give you the real before you know, kind of launch like that. So
yeah, because your friends are going to actually have your best interest at heart, and they're, you know, they're going to be even more honest than the general public would be.
Right, absolutely. And I have friends with the most sensitive skin, just like they can't use anything, and it's so hard to like get them to use stuff, and the products were good for them. So that was definitely a huge sign that it'd be okay for people.
Awesome. This is Rodarius Williams. He's a junior, and he asked, what inspired you to specifically target skincare?
Science background, like I'm in healthcare. So it's just about health, more so than anything, keeping people healthy, giving them products that would make them healthy. My lipsticks kind of really worked during the pandemic. Like the fact that like you have to put on masks and my lipsticks don't move. There's like a
Oh,
couple
wow. I didn't
videos
think
like,
about that. That's a great
oh
point.
yeah, oh baby, because
Well,
you
I
know,
don't wear lipstick. So.
right. But there's so many lipsticks that come off where you're like talking in your mask and then you pull the mask off and now you look like the Joker. And I really was like adamant about like, okay, what's a type of lipstick that we could do that, you know, wouldn't come off with the mask, or you can talk all day, you take that mask off. I don't have to run to a mirror ever because I know what I look like. It's still there.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So it's a sleigh that stays, honey.
All right, this is Khadijah Smith. She's a junior, and I know you talked a little bit about this, but she's asking, what type of business plan do you see for yourself in the future?
Oh, so many, so many. With just this one specifically, or
Just in general.
okay, so I'll start with this business. I see possibly maybe a storefront. I'm not sure, but I know that I want to open multiple dental practices and sell this at the dental practice. Every time you come from the dentist, like your lips get dry, you know, like, and I want to sell it to like a corporate office, like a corporate dental office, and have them use the products and just kind of sell them um, everywhere that the offices are. So that's like my main goal with this one. I also have like, I'm from Las Vegas. I'm not in Las Vegas right now, but I do plan on going back home. And there's like party bus businesses and, you
Oh, yeah.
know, certain stuff. Like I want to do a bunch. That's I'm like, it doesn't have to do anything with my career, but just I'd like to buy a yacht and have parties on the yacht and like let people rent it out. So I think as long as you like make the stuff that you buy make money for you. Like it's all over the place. You can pick whatever you want, but just like make it smart, make it make money for you. And another thing that I want to add is make sure that you do it legitimately. Like when you start your businesses off in the beginning, don't waste time not doing it like legit. Like get your LLC or get like your tax, get your like business stuff in order because it'll open so many more doors. You can buy so many things under your LLC. You can buy a car. Your business can buy a car for you. Your business can get credit for you. Like, so make sure that you're doing your research and having it and not just like, okay, just running a business because you have a website and you don't have that other stuff in order.
Yeah, and one thing that I also want to talk about is you have an interesting educational background, and we have some that are about to get ready to go to college. So I think it's important for them to hear different perspectives because you said you're from Las Vegas. You went
Mm-hmm.
to undergrad at Prairie View A&M in Texas, and then you
Mm-hmm.
went to grad school here in Mississippi at Mississippi College and a PWI, HBCU, PWI, and now you're at a PWI dental school in Boston. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are the pros and cons and the things that those different institutions have to offer when we have these young Black kids about to make their educational decisions after high school?
So I think you guys kind of you grew up in Jackson. So it's Jackson, right?
And Jackson State's right down the street. So obviously we're familiar with the SWAC. We got a lot of teachers here that went to Alcorn, Mississippi Valley. So we got the HBCU
Right.
here.
Right. So y'all are used to being around a lot of Black people.
Yeah,
Just, I mean,
I'm
as simple as
I'm
that.
always the only white person here.
Right. And that's an amazing thing. However, growing up in Las Vegas, like, yeah, we have Black people, but you're never going to go in spaces outside of like a Black event at the park, but you're never going to go in spaces. You're not going to be on the strip where it's just like Black people. So going to Prairie View in Texas, that was my first time kind of being in those situations. And then it was nice because, well, it eventually was nice because you didn't have to think about being Black. You could just be and do your thing, and everybody there is kind of the same. And like Black issues aren't your issues anymore. Going to PWI, of course, it's a lot different. And I talked about this in the other class that we were there when Trump got elected. So it kind of, and being in Mississippi, none of my family, like we kind of like don't do the South. They're like, it's dangerous there. You need to get out of there. So it kind of it changed the dynamic at school for sure. But the school, Mississippi College, was like the graduate school was very diverse. The undergrad is not. But I think that if you want to go into the sciences, if you want to go into the medical field, Mississippi College is the place to be. Like
Mississippi, absolutely. I agree 100%.
it's crazy how well known the program is. Like me saying I went to Mississippi College alone at dental conferences was just like, oh wow, okay, well, do you want to, maybe we can get my card and we can, interview you, and it holds a lot of weight. Now I'm at Tufts in Boston, another PWI. They are increasing diversity, however, it's still a very white school. But they try to do their parts and like making you feel included, and we have to make ourselves included, and we have to create our own communities no matter where we go. So I think that's just, they've all gotten me prepared for the world. So Prairie View did its thing, going to an HBCU. Everybody prepared you in different ways.
Yeah, that's
Am I answering that?
No,
Did I answer your question?
No, that's perfect. That's awesome, because I think it's important for our kids to know what both sides can offer, because they both
Yeah.
things the other ones can't, and it's important. At least my opinion is that it's important to diversify education after high school, no matter what you're going to do. So
Absolutely.
And I understand, and we have a lot of kids here that don't want to go to HBCUs because they've been around Black people their whole life. So I get that. I get that part as well. So
right.
I definitely see both sides of it.
Right. I mean, if you can do both, if you want to get more than one degree, I would say do both, but don't let being around Black people your whole life to tear you from going to a HBCU, because nobody is going to look out for you like your HBCU looks out for you. There were so many times, because I was culture shocked, just to be quite honest. Like I was like, I've never been around so many Black people, and these Black people are Black people, and okay, they are just, like, I don't know if y'all been around hood Dallas people or who y'all been around, but I had never been around it. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying. Like, what are you? So it was definitely a culture shock for sure. But, and when I wanted to leave, like PV, like there was a time, and I danced there. I was on the dance team. I was on a scholarship. I wanted to leave just because I was like, it's very Black. Like it's a little too Black. And I had so many professors that sat down and were like, absolutely not. Like you need to graduate here. You need to stick it out. And it was the best decision I ever made. And other people that go to PWIs, like in larger schools, like you're just another number. Nobody's going to sit you down and really want you to stay. It's just like, okay, well, that it's a Tuesday. Somebody else will be in. Like it doesn't matter the same. So to create those connections, I still have professors from my undergrad that'll call me. I'm like up on their wall, like after I got accepted in a dental school, and that was years later after I graduated. So the connection is completely different. They like really look out for you. It's definitely a family environment. So don't let the fact that you've been around Black people, like, I mean, go somewhere else for the weekend, go kick it with white people or whoever else you want to kick it with, go travel. But the HBCU experience is amazing. Yeah, I don't regret it for 1 second.
We have 3 state HBCUs here, with Jackson State, Alcorn, Mississippi Valley, that all offer great programs, as well as Tougaloo.
And y'all get in-state tuition?
Yeah, and
this debt is not cute.
Yeah, we have the private HBCUs, Tougaloo and Rust as well. So we're a lot to offer here. And we're almost out of time, and I appreciate you so much for joining us again. But real quick before we go, how important, and I know you're from Vegas, but you're still growing up Black in America. How important is it to have the representation of these small business owners? Like, what can they do to join the ranks of somebody as successful as you, even if it's not lip balm, even if they're not going to go to dental school? What can they do to be a part of that?
There are so many different like supports now. And like, even if you mentioned like people not having the money to do stuff, like there are so many like new business loans and new business things. And like, just look up grants and stuff for like Black owned business, female Black owned businesses. Like there's things out there. So don't think that you have to pay for everything by yourself. I wish I had known that when I started, because a lot of the stuff I was just funding myself. And it's a lot easier to get that money when you first start out than it is later down the line. So definitely go for it. But representation is so important. Like our skin is different from other people's. our, the stuff we like, our style, everything is different, even though it's copied eventually, but we still have a different, we still have a different makeup. So what works for our skin doesn't work for everybody else's. So there's just plenty of space. Like, we need to be in these spaces in order to take care of ourselves, in order to, give stuff to ourselves. Like, we can't all use the same hair products. Like, it needed to be Black people entering the conversation, that enter in the chat, basically, to get those products that we need. So diversity is needed everywhere. If we want to run a tech company, like, we need more Black tech companies. We need more of everything. So, don't let a saturated market deter you, because we belong there.
That's awesome. And again, and you're so inspirational, so amazing. I'm so glad we
Thank you.
we'll definitely have to do this some more. But
Yeah.
reenremedy.com, your Instagram is _5.
Yep. Hit the jackpot _5.
Hit the jackpot under
your
one
class,
word.
your class has been so surprised. I follow back.
Yeah, they were so excited. But hopefully we have some customers for you. I think I'm going to be ordering from you soon for Christmas.
Order, get some gifts.
Ordering some gifts for Christmas. So again, for anybody watching later, reenremedy.com, REEREMEDY.com. Hit the jackpot _5. Follow her on YouTube. Her channel is amazing. Hit the jackpot on YouTube. Great channel to subscribe to. And Anshel Tucker, we thank you so much for joining us all the way from Boston today. Very, very good stuff.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right. And we'll talk to you soon, my friend. Have a great day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.